Hi, I'm Sheri Hauser. Welcome to What's Up, Spirit. I'm here with Reverend Lesia Kohut for episode 14.
Yay, 14.
Look at us go.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
So, we're here to talk about what's on our hearts, what's on our minds, and what's occurred to us in the past week that has us go, huh, this feels really alive for me. So, what's happening for you, Spirit?
Mm. Well, thank you, Spirit, for asking. Um, I think right now in this moment, having just come back from a hospital visit with one of our community members, um, where I am spending time reading to this individual from certain spiritual books as a way to not just pass the time as this individual dozes in and out of sleep, but to also offer support from a very sort of positive and expansive kind of way. How I'm reminded how important it is to practice, 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 whatever it is that we do to remind ourselves of how powerful we are, of how creative we are, of how there's this incredible, amazing energetic flow that is whirling and swirling all around us, that is the essence of who and what we are. And that when we focus on that instead of whatever, say, landed this individual in the hospital, when this person focuses on that intentionally and purposefully and mindfully, that the energy shifts, that the experience of life shifts. And just like I went to the gym this morning for a workout with my trainer, like to lift weights and challenge my body and stuff, that it's really important for us to do that same kind of thing, to challenge our consciousness, to challenge our understanding of who we are in this moment, how we fit in, what life is all about. And that, it's not just about reading and talking and thinking about stuff, that it's about experientially practicing whatever it is that gets us to open up to a greater experience of who we can become. So that's kind of what's where I'm at right now. What's present and floating around for me.
Hmm. Yeah, what I'm hearing there, Lasia, is this um, being in the practice. That
Mm-hmm.
it's great to read and kind of remind yourself of where some of the origins of academic or spiritual teachings come from, but realizing that when you are being it, when you are doing it, and something that occurred to me as you were speaking is just by you showing up and sitting with this individual from the community and by sharing wisdom, you are being a spiritual leader, the one that you are. You were in the act of of being a divine presence and sharing your gifts, which you do seemingly so effortlessly.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I had actually thought, I mean, I sort of thought of that, but I thank you for saying that. Because for me, really, it was sort of, what is this individual getting out of the experience and the visits and just the reminder. But yes, I get just as much out of it too. And for me, even though it is part of my job as spiritual director, then it is a very win-win experience because consciousness is consciousness, whether it is showing up as you, showing up as me, this individual in hospital. It's all one thing expressing, slightly differently and individualized. And so when one shifts, then, everything shifts. So, yeah.
Yeah, when I was visiting my parents yesterday and my dad hasn't been feeling well, and it the realization that I had was similar. Like, rather than talking about the kind of what's wrong, or as you said, what might have landed the person in the hospital to begin with, rather than focusing on the logistics or the facts or the what, you kind of like come back and just have a conversation about, well, I don't know how to summarize what you had a conversation about with regards to what you read, but I know in my situation, speaking from my own experience, um, my dad and I more just focused on storytelling, really, rather than the situation at hand,
Mm-hmm.
and got into more of an imagination space.
Mm.
And that felt better.
Yeah.
Like it felt like I left him better than I found him.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate you offering the imagination space aspect of it. Right now, I'm reading Viktor Frankl's A Man's Search for Meaning, which I've only heard about up until now, and thought, okay, it's about time that I finally actually read this book, because it's also referenced in the book that I'm using as inspiration for this month at VTC, which is David Hawkins's Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender. But hearing about Viktor Frankl's experience in the concentration camps and his development of this technique to, help people, logotherapy, which really is about focusing on the future and giving meaning to life in terms of like, what can life be like? Not going backwards and sort of, how did I get here? And what are all the things and the problems and everything that led me to where I am? That's way less important, sometimes not important at all, as sort of going into the imagination, activating the imagination and giving meaning to what can be going forward. So that's neat that you were doing that with
Ah,
your dad yesterday.
yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, a little bit. But actually, as I heard you describe it, just I something new occurred to me,
Mm,
which is, I have a friend in midlife, and I know other individuals out there who would really love to find a love match, would really love to be in a committed partnership at this point in their life, um, and they often ask me, having found my partner at 48, and um, both of us having been divorced, they often want to know our love story.
mm,
And I find myself sharing over and over again that um, there wasn't a list. I wasn't looking to fill demographic criteria.
mhm,
I focused on the feeling,
mm,
and that's it. And and so I was being in the feeling, which really is the imagination space
mhm,
of how I wanted to wake up next to the love of my life, and
mm.
what that was going to feel like when I turned to them and felt their gaze and felt the warmth and felt the love and the joy of being alive another day with this person,
Yeah.
and focusing on that, so that when we did meet, my body knew immediately, because I felt home and safe, and it was part of the feeling that
Mhm.
I've been having.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I mean, it makes me feel, kind of giddy too, because in terms of new thoughts, science of mind specifically, Ernest Holmes says the key ingredient to affirmative prayer is feeling. You can rattle off a
Mm.
whole bunch of words, but if there isn't feeling, if there isn't passion, if there isn't faith, like sort of like a branch off the feeling sort of, tree, if that feeling isn't there to drive all of that, I mean, Joe Dispenza, same thing. Thoughts are electric, feelings are magnetic. So without the feeling, it may take a long time, if at all, to, get what it is, to realize what it is that you're imagining. So cool.
Yeah. So, three cheers to imagination.
Yep.
What else do you want to cover today, Lasia?
Um, I would like to express some gratitude. Gratitude for, we're coming up on our 6 month anniversary of having started at VTC as co-leaders there. And I just want to express some gratitude for you, for me, for the VTC board, and for our community, and how it has grown and blossomed and evolved sort of, I think, even more so than I imagined, and sort of had plans and dreams and schemes for at the very beginning of October. And am just thrilled that we're welcoming in, I think it's like 20 official new members, when we have our meeting next month. And so just am really delighted at how things are really, it's spring, so blossoming into something lovely and connected and vibrant and new and exciting, and that people are really just, enjoying showing up in person to the various events, online. I see again the Facebook community has grown. So just very grateful for all of the energy and enthusiasm that is going into this project, called the Victoria Truth Center community. So that's what else I wanted to just drop in there.
Feels like a really nice warm bath receiving your gratitude. And I love what you notice. I think it's really important to notice the and appreciate all of the steps, all of the decisions, all of the yeses that the board made in order for us to step into the position, setting down the fear of change, knowing that in order to thrive and grow, we need to be different than how we might seem the day we began.
Mm-hmm.
That there is no growth if you don't move.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're moving. I mean, we've changed the look of our physical space. We've birthed from scratch, brand new events. And yeah, so we're on our way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, feels really good.
Yeah, feels really good to be here. I'm not future tripping like as if there's some destination or attachment to an outcome, but I'd love to offer that the journey has been exquisite and powerful and sometimes hard, but oh my gosh, full of joy. And it's easy to take pride in having moved the needle with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're here, and likewise. Yeah.
So for anybody watching, that's you out there. If you haven't tuned in, if this happens to be your first episode of What's Up Spirit, then victoriatruthcenter.org is where we house all of our information about upcoming events. And we have fun there. It's really all about living life lovingly, the motto of the Truth Center. And that is apparent and true in everything that we do. Mm-hmm. So if you want a little more of that in your life, then come find us in the physical space at 2815 Cedar Hill Road, or join us in the virtual world, and you can watch Lesia's live streams. There's 9 of them every month. So that's Sheri signing out.
And this is Rev Lesia saying, thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us, being a part of our community. We love you. We appreciate you. We're so glad you're here. Bye for now.